Hello, my darlings. Back with the Great Ugly for this week and for my personal 100 days challenge. And Steph had a video up, I think it was last week, it went up on the 28th, I think, called the Stuffed Envelope Pocket. And I was completely intrigued. I thought, I got to get this idea into my Great Ugly. So, this is a little bit different than what you see at the end of the video, but I'm just challenging myself now to do things a bit differently. So I've got two stuffed envelope pockets that are now going to live over here rather than where you see them at the end of the video. But this one then is been put down as a belly band, and I'm loving it. So you got a slot in the back that opens up. You've got a pocket in the front, tags in here, fold it down towards you. You've got a waterfall journal here with a big tuck pocket on the back, tags at the top, and then if I move this up a little bit, that then flips down towards you with two extra tucks in it. So stick around. Challenged myself a bit with the editing for this one, so we'll see how it goes. It's all part of the 100-day challenge, so I hope you like, and back in a tick. Right, let's make a start on these envelopes. These are two I did off camera, just playing. They're still very, very wet, so I'm gonna put those over there to dry. I'll show you what I did. I found these in my envelope chest. And yes, I have an envelope chest. It's just like a TK Maxx kind of thing where I put envelopes I find. These I found. They're very old, but they're perfectly fine. It's just the glue is faded down. So to show you what I mean, I'm doing Steph's envelope stuff pockets. I've gone back to have a look. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think she used envelopes. I think she used papers because hers look a different dimension. But I'm going to have a go with envelopes. Let's see. Glue them shut. And then tap on the ooh-hoo. Glue sponge. I've blitzed through my scrap trolley. It's spread out on the table behind me, and I thought, right, instead of going into the unloved papers now, let's see how much of this we can use up. So, while I was fiddling about, I discovered something useful with the glue sponge. I'll explain now. So, I'm going croaky again. So, fold it up and leave a little bit above. So once this is done, we're going to be slicing them and creating pockets inside those envelope voids. So, but before you do that, you need to sort of cover this up. So you could do that with one whole sheet of something, or collage it. So I'm going to have to go with a bit of collage for a minute to show you how the glue sponge works as well. Let's have a look. Any piece of paper, it doesn't matter, on there. Now, I've been using my fingers, and using your fingers is fine, and your fingers get less icky using the glue sponge. But this afternoon I thought there must be some other way that I can press things into the sponge ever so lightly and keep my fingers even in better shape. And then I found that. I got a pot above me that's got some of my paintbrushes and palette knives in it, and that was in there. I thought, right, let's have a go. Let's get a piece of book page and have a go. So pop it into the glue sponge. Take that sort of funky palette knife, give it a smooth, I'm not pressing down, I'm just smoothing it onto the surface of the sponge. And you've just got this lush glisten of glue. Now, the glue sponge video was the first video that proper video that I really filmed to put up. If you're interested, to go back and have a look. It's such a simple idea, but I absolutely love it. It gives such lovely edges on everything. And you've got that wiggle room when you're collaging, especially because it's just plain PVA. So you can pick things up and wiggle them. And so yeah, I'm just going to carry on. Oop, go back. See? Easy peasy. I'm on camera. Stay on camera. So yeah, I'm just going to go back and keep adding some bits and bobs to this one to cover it up. So at least I've got a third one ready. And then I will pop back on and show the next step. I'm a bit back and forth at the moment. So this video I'm going to do in bits. And test my YouTube editing skills, to see how I can get it all stitched together, which is part of my 100-day challenge, is to stretch myself a bit and see, because there's so many different things you've got to have in your mind when you're filming and crafting at the same time. So yeah, so this is a proper test for me personally, to do that while I'm filming. See, I'm carrying on now. I'm looking for little bits to add in. So yes, so that's the plan at the moment. And then I'll film the intro at the end, if that makes sense. So whether it works out that way, I don't know. But I'm going to carry on with this for a bit. That was my unexpected discovery this afternoon, is using like a palette knife on that glue sponge. And it's worked an absolute treat. The only drawback with that is that you've got to leave this dry or heat it up with a hairdryer or a heat tool to speed up the drying process. So no, I'm going to carry on for a bit. Back in a tick. Right, and I'm back. And these are dried. I had to do so many retakes. I was sneezing my head off, honestly. The pollen lately. So that's dry, that's dry. They need the tops cut off. So let's line these up so that they're more or less straight on the mat. No precise measuring. Just give that top edge a slice. A tool. Cutting wheel. There we go. So that end gets a slice and the other end gets a slice off to open it up. There we go. And slice off. So now I have a nice pocket there and one there. But we're going to keep going. So a slice, I'll repeat this one off camera. Let's do this one first. Now you can use a circle punch to do the notches, but I quite like the effect of the notch that comes on your envelope punch. So have a go right in the center. There we go. That sort of notch. I quite like that. I like that shape. So there's one, and let's do the other one. There we go. it is. Now, inking is the next bit. So all that will get inked in black. So all that will get inked with black going around. I'll do the rest of the inking off camera. The next step I want to do is the little wall. Try that again, Faith. The little waterfall notelet that's going to go in here. So is that one that one? Yes. That one is that one that I've already torn. That will get sewn in on the sewing machine off camera. So when it opens, you've got stuff in that pocket. You're going to open it and you're going to have this waterfall notelet underneath. Pop that away a minute. Let me show you how I worked out the waterfall before I go off and ink and sew. So I've got all this is from my scrap trolley. That's dyed paper. That's a ghost page from Penelope of where I was just cleaning my stencils. And then that's a tea-dyed page. So let's have that. And I don't know why I just turned it around that way. It doesn't really matter. So first thing I need to know is the width of that. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/4. No, 1, 2, 4 1/4. So I need this ripped down to 4 inches. So no precise measure in here. Just get this at 4 inches and rip. These now go into my scrap basket. Fold to be the height of where I want the waterfall to be, roughly. Doesn't have to be precise again. Fold them in half. Get that excess ripped off. These then go into my scrap trolley as collage border. And which way is it open in? That way. So pop these in here. Go to the very last page. Keep some tension on where the top of it's going to be. And give it a tear. This is just the way that I've worked out in my head. I've seen other creators work out waterfalls in different ways. But this is just the way my brain works. And I can do it this way. So, and as you're moving up, keeping pressure on it so you know where your fold line is. And what I've learned as well, don't push down on the ruler until you know you've only got one piece of paper in your hand. Because I've done that before. I've gone all the way up a waterfall and then realized I've got 3 pieces of paper in my hand and I've ruined it because I've ripped them all off. So just keep going down and doing it so you've got that sort of staggered effect. There's so many different ways I've seen waterfalls done, but for this little scrappy idea, it doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, sometimes imperfection can be the most beautiful thing. So that one is ready to get stitched in there. Those need to be punched and they both need to be inked. So I will pop back on then once I've done those steps. So back and tick. And right, back with these done. They've been inked and the waterfalls have been stuck in. I'll show you now. Oh, and I still need to trim off the threads. It says, and so that's one. So it opens up that way. So you've got that little mini waterfall there. You could ink the edges of the waterfall if you really, really wanted to. Something needs to go there. I've got that pocket, the pocket on the back. Something goes there, something goes there. Let's get the other one. That's going to bug me now. That string's going to go. I thought I'd done that already. There we go. So waterfall, flip up, something on the front and the back. So again, these have been inked on the edges, going all the way around. Both of them have. So on that one, let's get a pocket into here. Was that the front one or the back one? Can't remember. These are just, again, bits from my scrap trolley. I'm not really concerned about. That needs a tiny bit shaved off. Give these a teeny bit of colour and a random notch. Yeah. So, as I've come back into my craft space to look at these, I've pulled out my wax seals, my pre-made ones. And again, with those, I do them in a mass session. I don't trust myself with a naked flame around everything. So I sort of mass make those. So I think, like Steph did, I think I'm going to put a seal on there. I've sort of picked out a couple of really wonky ones that I just want to use up. Glue. There we go. Art. You wait today, Art. Come on. Come on. On my little pen, I keep an old earring, an old silicone earring back on there to stop my dangle from falling off. And it just gets really gummed up sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's like really gummed up. I guess it's just how the glue rises up in the bottle sometimes. Let's stick a pocket on there. And again, not looking for, this isn't going into, you know, one of my handmade books to pass on. This is just for the Great Ugly. So that bit of random masterboard can go in there. And stay on camera, Faith. I have to keep talking to myself and telling myself these things. Because, you know, at the end of the day, I'm in an empty room talking to myself. There we go. And even if you're a beginner, you know, and you don't have ink, just go for it. You know, glue things together. You can always go back with, you know, black pens or, you know, set of cheap children's watercolor paints and embellish things. Just absolutely go for it. That's one thing I love about Steph's videos as well, is she just goes for it. Where I do get stuck sometimes measuring. So on the top of that, so I will stuff these pockets. I've got some random bits out. So on my seals, I've gone through, I do them sometimes on fabric, bits of paper, combination of things. But I've got a few wonky ones here where the stamp didn't quite hit the mark. So I'm going to stick a couple of those on, just as a decoration on the front. And I'll show you the idea for, because I think this is going in the Great Ugly on a two-page spread. So I've had another idea. I went back and had a second look at Steph's video, and I have an idea for a belly band version of this that I had to stop this afternoon and like really think about, but I'll explain that now. So stick that on there. And art should do the trick. The pin and the glue. Go. Right, I'm going to do the exact same thing to that one, with a pocket there, a pocket on the back, and another wonky seal on the front. Those will go on to one page in the Great Ugly. They still need stuffing, and I'm only going to stuff them with stuff from this pile of scrap behind me. So put these aside a minute, and I thought for a full page in the Great Ugly, because the Great Ugly is a good size, I pulled out a roll of, where is it gone? There we go. It's just a roll of parcel paper to wrap postal packages in. Sorry, I didn't get my words together today. It's Friday. It's been a long week. So I just cut a piece off that roll, folded it in that way, and just glued it. So I've got one big hollow tube, basically, of paper. So I folded it up then, that hollow tube, folded it up to there. And the idea then is to cut those notches again into the top. Those thumb notches. Is that alright? Yes, that's come through. And on that one, actually I'm not doing that one yet. I want to back it first. Ink it. I want to back this with something. I've made a detached waterfall out of stuff I found in the scrap trolley. I think that's one of Rachel's freebies from before, but it was in my scrap trolley, printed on just regular printer paper. So I can't put it there. Sorry, on camera. I can't put it there because I want to attach this as a belly band on the page, and that's just, a waterfall's just not going to work flipping down off the page because it's off the end of the book then, isn't it? So I can't sew directly through that because I will essentially then sew that pocket shut. So I've sewn it together as a standalone waterfall, and I'm going to glue it there. So when the belly band is opened, you're going to have that on basically the middle of the page, and that will be your belly band going under. So I'm going to finish these two off and rummage around to see what I can find to fill the pockets, and find a piece to back this, something to go on here, and I need to find something to go here on the bit that's going to flip out towards you off the end of the book. So off to rummage around again, so I'll be back in a tick. Right, and back. I've done the second one of those. So these are quite little chunky monkeys now. So, oh, I forgot that one. Let's find something to stick in now. Stick a little money envelope in there. So I've stuffed these now using, I've got that put on the top as just a decoration. This has got some random bits of cardstock. I may or may not go back and round corners on those before it goes in the Great Ugly. I will definitely use one of these pieces to write down the origin of the idea and some simple instructions to my future self. So some packaging stuck in the back there, two little tags stuck in there, pocket, that little waterfall, and something on the back then. I've got a little IKEA tray here, so if I have anything roughly tag shaped from packaging, it all goes in here, and I sort of keep this in a drawer next to me, so anything like this that can be useful. So I've stuffed those, and I've stuffed those, so some in the front, and that pocket, and that back pocket, and the pocket on the back. And I found this mixed in amongst the tags here in that little IKEA tray. If more of us valued food and cheer and song above hoarded gold, it would be a merrier world. J.R. Tolkien. We're going to leave that in there. That's so true. So, right, those two are ready to rock and roll. They need notes, or one of these, somewhere here in obvious, needs a note. Note to future self. So this one then, I've stuck a bit of tea dye on the front. That's the waterfall to go in. And I've just added one huge pocket to go under the waterfall. So I need to glue that waterfall in. I'm not going to fuss too much, I think, with inking this one. I'm just going to go for it. So where is art? There we go. And art likes to bond quickly, but when you've got stitching on the back as well, you get a very good bond with art. Art and paper and stitching make a very strong partnership. So pin in the glue first. And see if I can line this up and stay on camera. Line it up upside down. So I want it to cover that pocket that I've put in the back. But because this is just parcel post wrapping paper, that pocket should give the back of the belly band a little bit of rigidity. So, no, there we go. So then I've scored these so they all flip up. They all got a little bit of a score to them. And then, of course, when you get to the very back, you've got that pocket hidden, which will be in the belly band going that way. So something can come out. Which means I got to make sure I put that belly band on the right-hand side. I've just realized that. That can't go on a left-hand page, because you wouldn't be able to pull out what was in the pocket. Note to self. I'll write it over here. Belly band, right hand side. So, there's that. I still need to get something in that pocket. Some decoration to go there. I found that scrap piece. This was one of my scrap pieces when I first started playing with texture paste, which is still very new to me, but that can go on there. But on the inside of that flap, as it folds down out of the book towards you, I want to put, I found these little scraps of wallpaper, and I've got a file folder in my scrap trolley that's just got scrap wallpaper in it. So if I have a massive roll of something, I am a bit liberal when I'm using it. But it's a very small piece or sample piece of wallpaper, I will save the scraps, especially if it's a pattern that I really, really like. And this came from a friend. She had one wall in her living room done in this paper at one time, and oh, it was lush. It was so gorgeous. The color, that sort of rusty, rust and teal, grungy color. And I'm down to my very last few pieces of it. I don't have much left. And I haven't seen it in the shops lately either. So I think at this point I would buy a whole roll, because I love it so much. There we go. And pin in the glue. So I need to find something to tuck in there. Something to tuck in the two long pockets. Nothing's going on the back, because that's going in the book as a belly band. I'm going to put that in there. Yeah, just go for it. Again, it's, yes, that's going on the right-hand page. So that can go down in that right corner. That can go down in the right corner, because something can still be pulled out. Yeah. Sorry, thinking aloud there a second. Honestly, because I'm in my happy place playing here with paper and glue, but then filming throws you for a loop then, because you got to think of all these other things. But never mind, getting there. Oh, I do apologize for being so croaky. The pollen has done my head in again today. I sneezed my head off. So I need to fill this, write me a note to go in there, and then get the big ugly out and figure out how these are going to live in there. So, back in a tick. Right, were any of you shouted at me? Because I forgot the closure to go on the back of it. Oh my word. So there's some tea-dyed twine here. I think I can pull it back because I should have thought much earlier in the process about the closure. And what I'll do is I'll just add that into my sort of note to myself, is to think about the closure first when I'm assembling. So I'm going to put, this is just like baker's twine that I've dyed with some tea. So on the back of that, let's take, I've taken out what was in the pocket. So if we get this sort of onto the back, about there, and what I'm going to do, I think, is let's open this up so it lays a bit flatter. So I know where it's going to go. I'm going to get a length of washi tape, about so. Then the washi tape, my glue book, and I'm just going to get a bit of glue onto the back of it to give it a little bit of permanence. There we go. That's my glue book out of the way. And pop that down just above pocket. So where there's a will, there's a way. And mistakes are proof you're trying, isn't it? Pardon me. Mistakes are proof that you are trying. So all that goes back in. That glue stick will eventually cure. And I've got a closure to tie this up. So there we go. I'm not sure if both of these are actually going to fit in the Great Ugly, the two smaller ones. I'll put one on the closure on that one after. This one is a bit more straightforward because there's nothing on the back. So I've got a card stuck in that front. Oh, I forgot to put something in there. I can do that after. So my closure on that one, I don't want to use the string. I want a bit of lace. What have I got in here that's skinny that needs to be used up? Well, there's a piece. Not much of that left. So that's perfect size, really. So where do I want it? Right around that middle bit, I think. Am I in the middle? Roughly in the middle. Yes. Sorry, my hand's in the way. There we go. Up there. So on the back, I'm going to give myself pencil, pencil, pencil. A little bit of a guide mark there. Get some art. Anybody out there has got any tips about glue, about working with a lace that's elastic or stretchy, please let me know if you found any tips. This one isn't stretchy, but I've had peculiar results with some of the lace that's stretchy and elastic, especially when I'm sewing with it. But I'm self-taught on the sewing machine, so I'm just learning as I go along. Alright, that should be fine. And tie that up. I quite like this idea. I'm really liking this tall skinny one for sure. And those tags I just stayed out of some old sugar paper, or for you Americans out there, it's just construction paper. In the UK they call it sugar paper. I have no idea why. I thought, no, it's construction paper. No, it's sugar paper. There we go. So, right, now I'm going to get the Great Big Ugly out and we'll have a look. Back in a tick. Right, I do apologize. This video is becoming a bit of a beast now, even just looking at the size of some of my snippets. But the Great Ugly is becoming a bit of a beast now. I might have to start thinking about how I'm going to make it through the rest of the weeks with this thing. So I found that in my wallpaper scrap folder in my trolley. So I'm just going to go for it. Only one of these little ones is going to go in because they are quite bulky. And yes, and then the belly band, of course, is going to go on the other side. So I'm only going to glue 2 sides of that. Get it stuck in. So give art a moment on that side to do its thing. And the belly band then is going to go on that side. So it's not going bang in the center because I've got tags in the top sticking up. And what I've done is that's going to go behind the belly band. Just the date of Steph's video, and that I need more playing and experimenting, and a note to myself that the process notes are in here. So I've just sort of written notes to myself of what I did. Don't forget the closure when you're building it. And slide that back in. And I'm going to leave the tags in there so I know where the top of it is. And get some art stuck on the top there. And on the bottom. Happy days, pin in the glue. And get that stuck down. Oh, stay there. Right in the middle, and don't stick my head under the camera. There we go. And give it a smush. There we go. Happy with that. So now, that's the Great Ugly then, done for now. That's going to live in there. It's going to be a little bit bulky. And that was me experimenting the first time I bought the texture based. That's going in the back of there to live as a note to my future self. So that's all from me for the Great Ugly for this week. And if there's anything here that, especially like the wax seals, if anybody's interested in seeing a session done on just making those with paper and fabric, please let me know. Give me a comment down the bottom. And thank you ever so much for sticking with me. Give me a like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I don't know how that's going to survive, but we'll see. It's all a bit of play. So thank you for watching, and bye for now.